Yo, what is up guys? It is Ortiz back with another video. Now for today, we're going to be doing something different on my channel, that being a film review specifically on Teen Wolf the movie. Now I have loved Teen Wolf since I was a kid. I love the TV show. It was one of my favorite things to watch when I was growing up. And when I heard that there was going to be a movie coming out, I was actually pretty excited about it. And then I actually watched the movie and man, I have some things to say about it. Now, I should mention that this review will have spoilers in it, so fair warning. Now, Teen Wolf the movie takes place 15 years after the series finale, and it begins with a mysterious figure deciding to cause some chaos by unleashing the Nogitsune, who was the villain of season 3. Now, the Nogitsune is able to convince Lydia and Scott to revive Allison, and they're able to do it with some type of ritual, but what they don't end up knowing is that they will be reviving an Allison who has no memory of what has happened. All she knows is that she's there to hunt werewolves. Now, with some trickery from the Nogitsune, Allison is convinced to try and track and kill Scott and the rest of his pack. And from there, Scott and his friends need to now stop the Nogitsune, Allison, the Oni, and this mysterious figure. Now, one of the biggest things missing from this movie is Styles, played by Dylan O'Brien, which sucks because Styles is the heart and soul of the Teen Wolf series and probably a lot of people's favorite character. So not having him in the film is definitely noticeable, and I know Dylan O'Brien said that he wasn't going to be in this movie because he felt like the producers kind of just threw the idea at them without really giving them any sort of heads up that they were going to make this. So they were kind of caught off guard by this, and also Dylan O'Brien said that he was kind of happy with how the series had already ended. And this really sucks because it's something that I at least noticed the whole time I was watching this movie. I kept noticing that he wasn't in the film, and I kept thinking about what difference he could have made if he was in the film. You notice that there's something missing that whole time. Now, one thing I will applaud the producers on is bringing a lot of the old cast back. I mean, there was some sort of nostalgia that I got from seeing all the characters again, especially how they've aged over the years. However, I believe that a lot of the characters were only brought in for the nostalgia effect. So many of the characters that were brought back had no real significance or importance to the story. They probably had like 3 to 5 conversations and then did nothing after that. They were basically told to just run around and do this and do that. For example, the last scene where Eli, Scott, and Derek are fighting the Nogitsune, the rest of the cast is just watching. They're all in the back just watching. They don't even have anything to say. They don't have anything to do. They're just standing there watching that whole time. So the writers did a bad job trying to integrate everybody into this story. And speaking of the stories, one of the things I hate about this movie is how rushed the story feels. There is such a lack of information and context that is pretty important to the story. For example, 2 new characters were introduced in this movie, that being Eli, the son of Derek, and Hikari. Hikari is a kitsune who seems to be in a relationship with Liam, but it's never clarified, and that's about all we ever get to find out about her. And it's pretty obvious to tell that she only got placed in this movie because Arden Cho refused to come back, and so they just kind of had to bring in a new kitsune. They wrote her in without really telling us why or how she got there. And then Eli, the son of Derek, that's very important. That's super surprising for us because we've always known Derek to be this lone wolf type of guy. He's had love interests in the past, but they've never really worked out. So to find out that he has a son, I mean, the first question you ask yourself is, who is the mom? And guess what? We never find out. They never mention who the mom is whatsoever. And I mean, we don't need a detailed background on who the mom is and her upbringing, but we just need to know who she is, how she met Derek, and where she is now. But the writers just never put her in because who cares? You know, we're just meant to accept these characters. They threw these characters right at us and expected them to just bring them in, accept them without questioning who they are, why they're there, or anything like that. Another issue with the story is the big final reveal at the end. That was just super underwhelming. I mean, for the main villain, this mysterious figure, to be a character from the past who showed no real threat at any point, and to be honest, doesn't even have a really good reason for wanting to kill Scott and his friends. And don't even get me started on Derek's sacrifice at the end. I mean, Derek is a character a lot of people love. He's been in this series for a long time, so he's a character everybody loves. and yet his death, his sacrifice felt so rushed or so forced and unnecessary. I mean, his death should be something that puts tears in our eyes. We feel emotional watching it because he's been part of this for so long, and yet it didn't feel like that whatsoever. And again, it's just all about the story. It just was not written good at all. It really feels rushed. Now, there's some other small issues I noticed, such as issues with the audio. I noticed that some sound effects didn't really sound natural, and some of the ADR was pretty bad. I mean, there's one scene where the dialogue is meant to be coming from Parrish. He's meant to be saying something, but it sounds like a whole different person. And then there was also issues with the visual effects. I mean, I could excuse it in the past because, you know, technology and the budget probably wasn't there, but I mean, this is a movie, it's 2023, and yet some of the visual effects still looked pretty bad, pretty fake. Now, I don't want to make it seem like this movie is all bad. There were some good things. I do like the fact that they brought back the new Kitsune. Obviously, season 3, he was probably one of the best villains in Teen Wolf, one of the most threatening for sure. He was super clever, threatening, and that's also the time that we got Styles, the Dark Styles character. Now, the Nogitsune didn't feel as creepy or threatening in this movie, but still, it was nice to see the Nogitsune come back, as well as the Oni. Also, the look of the film does look pretty good. It looks pretty sharp and clean, and obviously that's because of new technology and new cameras, but also some good use of lighting. Overall, I'm gonna give this movie a 4 out of 10. It was just a very disappointing movie, and to be honest, I'd rather forget it was even made. I want to act like this movie has nothing to do with the Teen Wolf series. Personally, I think they actually should have made a mini-series. That way they would have had more time to develop the characters, give us more information about the characters, where they've been in the last 15 years or so, but instead they chose to make this movie, and it's pretty disappointing. Let me know what you guys thought about this movie though, and let me know if there's any new movies I should review next. I am planning on making a review for Infinity Pool next on my channel, so stay tuned. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe, make sure to turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.